What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Today we have my friend's 135 1M clone, a lot like my black 1M clone. This one's a little bit different and he was able to accomplish this entire build on a pretty impressive budget. It's gonna be a good one. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
You are my sun. You are my sunshine. You are my sun. Red and white. You are my sun. You are my sunshine.
All right, guys, so this is Edwin's 135 1M clone. Edwin, welcome to the channel, bro. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for making the drive from Raleigh to bring your car. Fayetteville originally.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
cool,
so
cool.
it's a little bit further from Raleigh.
Oh yeah, a little bit further up there.
But it's still the same amount of drive.
Yeah. And you work with the NRP guys?
Yeah, I usually go to them for any major work. Definitely great guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally recommend. They're my go-to people.
Hell yeah,
so
man.
They're great.
Let's take a look at your 135. So this is kind of similar to my build. You guys remember I built the black 135 1M clone, and he was able to accomplish his a little bit cheaper than mine. So I definitely want to talk about some of the modifications and his process of going through it. All right, bro. So first tell me this is a 2008, right?
Correct, yes.
What was your approach for this entire build? You're
So-
just trying to do it on a budget?
Yeah, so I've always been a big fan of like accomplishing things with like a certain budget, right? For the daily person, you know, it's a little bit different and more difficult to accomplish, you know, builds and stuff. But I definitely think that my approach was how can I get it done for a budget and how can I make it pretty much just as clean?
Yeah.
And that was definitely the whole approach for this from day one.
Yep.
Purchased a vehicle last year, sometime in October from California, actually. So had it shipped to me, and that was really game on from there. You know, acquiring parts, looking for honestly part outs, and that's where I got all my front end parts. It was all a part out.
Oh, like all the 1M stuff?
Yeah.
Came from a part out?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh,
So the front bumper, fenders, and side skirts were all from a part out. I got them for about $1,500.
Oh, dude, you saved money.
Yeah. So
That's
you know the
crazy.
corner brackets were all broken, but it's fine. You know, fixed them.
Yep.
Fitments, you know, pretty good.
Yep.
Side skirts still in good shape, and fenders. Oh, and I even got the side markers. I know those are like from IND. They're like a $300 purchase.
I have the same ones. They're ridiculous.
Yeah. So I got them for.
Yeah.
For $1,500 all included, which
Nice.
definitely was a big part of the build.
That's a steal, bro. That's like super cheap compared to what I paid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, it looks really good. You're on the 359s, right?
Yep. So I'm on the OEM 359s. I am running a 15mm spacer just because of the, you know, the Brembo brakes and stuff. But the rear fitment is still, you know, no spacer.
No spacer, nothing.
Stock hub, and I think it looks pretty great, honestly. I
Dude,
can't
it looks
complain.
really good.
Yeah,
I dig
absolutely.
it. And what's the name of this? This is a wrap,
Yeah,
right?
so this is from Vinyl Frog. This is the Tanzanite blue, most similar color to it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's what it is. Buddy of mine in Colorado had this on his 135 LS build, and I totally loved it. I fell in love with the color. During the day it's one color, and at night it's a completely different shade. And I think it was pretty unique because you don't see that on the 1 Series. It's usually black,
for sure.
something, you know, crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it was the most subtle color I could find to where it was like, you know, OEM plus, which what I was after.
Even on camera, it looks really blue, but in person, there's like a lot more purple in it.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier. In the nighttime, you know, when the light hits, you know, gas station lighting, it'll be like bluish purple, and then, you know, the darkness is just completely different shade. Yeah.
Also, I kind of like how you kept the chrome grills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they're making a comeback, dude.
Yeah, no.
Like going back to originals.
And it was actually a buddy of mine who was like, man, just keep it OEM plus.
Yeah,
and I decided to, you know, I was going to go with the carbon fiber, you know, hood emblems. And I was like, you know what? I like the silver, the chrome.
It's a classic.
Yeah, and I kept the Euro spec headlights. These were actually made by a buddy of mine in New York, actually One Spool on Instagram.
Nice.
He was the one who did the one who did the air duct, because that's the same thing he had going on in his car. But even then, like I said, I got everything else for still, and I think it was a great, you know, route to go to.
And then you went fiberglass flares in the rear.
Correct, yeah. I did the J Meadows fiberglass flares. My buddy was able to mold them for me and then just laid the wrap over it.
Yeah, that's like way easier than the route I went.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheaper
Going down
too.
the paint route, definitely. Going the paint route is just way more expensive. Yeah, it looks good, man. So these are pre-LCI, basically Euro style.
Correct, yeah. They're the Euro spec headlights without
dope.
the orange side marker.
Yeah.
And I liked it better, you know.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's different.
It's a little bit cleaner. Like the orange on mine kind of breaks it up. I've been thinking about going over to the Euro style because I think it just looks a little bit better.
Yeah, and like I said, I wanted unique, cheap, and, you know, just special.
Yeah.
And I think it's just definitely what brings the front end, you know, together with the OEM plus.
Yep.
So I think it was a great route.
Yeah.
Eventually, I might get something different, but for now, I think it'll do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So the car is obviously pretty low right now, and what is the suspension setup?
So I am on the Airlift 3P management system.
Okay.
So it is on bags. Ran it at Impact last month. Performed amazing on bags. You know, 90-mile-hour turns. Like it was just fine. I can't complain. Definitely different. It's my first time having bags, but honestly, for the budget, I did pay $600 for the whole setup.
That's not bad, dude.
It was
That's
a good
super
trade, and I think for what it is, like I said, it's amazing.
Has it been pretty reliable for you? Like, that's the one thing that people who have bags say, like, sometimes
Yeah,
they're just not...
and like I said, on the way here, I think I have a leak on a fitting, but even then, in months of having bags, really, it's the first issue.
And
I
even
have.
racing it.
Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
is crazy.
Yep.
So you're beating on this thing.
Yeah, no, I did some roll racing over at Impact, and it did great. I've done some back road trips, and performs amazing.
Exterior wise, we didn't really get through all of it. You did something where you have a trunk, you have a carbon trunk, right?
Yeah, correct. So this has the carbon trunk, the black line tail lights. Pretty basic, really. Eventually, I'll add a diffuser and stuff. But I think, like I said, it's pretty basic. Without going over the budget. OEM plus.
Yeah, no, it's simple. It's simple. Yeah. For your exhaust setup, did you end up doing the whole like 1M conversion?
No, so that's the other thing.
Okay.
I know you usually have to get a battery tray, get that, all that.
Honestly, dude, like that part is way more expensive than you would think.
And it's
like
stressful.
Thousands.
Yeah, and it's stressful because the route I went, not every exhaust shop wants to do it for you.
Yeah.
Luckily, with my sister being in the car industry, she has a great welder, and he was able to make it fit. We pushed up the canister, routed the quad exhaust, and I think it fits great.
So you basically just rerouted the factory to work around
everything
that
is still the same.
tray? Yeah,
correct.
okay, cool.
Exhaust setup is basically muffler delete. I did the Vibrant mid section resonators, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. The little bit that I heard on the way here sounds really nice.
It's not bad.
So for the interior, what do you have done on the interior of this car?
So for the interior, it might get a couple hate, but it's fine. I did go with the Brougham seats. I did like the CS Sportsters, and I feel like this was the closest to that style. And like I said, eventually over the years, I'll move up to something more expensive. All I wanted to do for now is get it on the road, get it somewhat, nice looking, and that's pretty much it.
But it like falls in line with the theme of the car. Like it wasn't meant to be like some crazy show car.
No.
You're just more over like function, right?
Yeah, and absolutely, and it's one of those where like if the average person sees it, it's like, wow, that's an amazing car.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's what people see, and that's what they get, with that price range. And besides that, interiors wise, I did do the M3 steering wheel, because the car is DCT swapped.
So is it originally a manual?
No, it was originally an automatic car.
Oh, it was automatic.
Yep.
Okay.
So
swapped in the DCT.
Yep. The swap was done by Nico 135 back on the West Coast. When I got the car, I think it was a perfect, unique build to where you don't see the DCT 135 very often, especially with the M54. So I think it was like a great trade-off for what it is in the price range that I got the vehicle.
Yeah. So speaking of transmission and power and stuff like that, what performance-wise, what do you have going on with this car?
So performance-wise, the car is on the Franken F21 turbos. The higher brand of the 17Ts does have all your VRSF inlets, outlets. It's on Phoenix Racing, port injection, 950 cc's, charge pipe, blow-off valve. I am running dual catch can setup. Pretty much everything that you need to make a good amount of horsepower to play with. I think it's been pretty much done.
Yeah.
And I'm
tuned
pretty
by
happy.
CD919.
Of course, yes. CD919 out of Raleigh. Keeping the car healthy, and I can't complain. Like I said, for what it is, I think I went a great route. Keeps it in a safe horsepower range.
What do you think you're at?
It's hard to tell. I think probably mid-fives possibly. But even then, the tuning, the transmission definitely helps. It's very responsive, so it definitely has a quick punch to it. But
that's XHP?
Yep, XHP tuned stage 3, and I love it. Like I said, it's reliable. It's taking care of me, and it's fun.
It's all the necessary stuff. You got the Mosselman oil thermostat. Did you do the oil coolers too?
Yeah, so I am running the dual cooler setup.
Oh, you are running dual?
Yeah, I am running dual. It's still out of it's a G Plus brand off eBay. And all of that was done by the previous owner. Yeah, I got lucky enough to where, like I said, the car came with a DCT swap, port injection.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's running the VS Stage 3 dual lower pressure fuel pumps with hobs, and I think it was a great car for the price.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're running full E85.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So when I got the car from California, the previous owner was running full E, and I don't drive the car much, unfortunately, due to work, but I keep it with E85 just because it's local to me. So I felt no need, but for this
you got a tank in the back.
Yeah.
Because Charlotte is like few and far between.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go to a shop to get E.
Yeah,
so
well, for us, we have a Sheetz nearby, so it's not a bad,
nice.
It's only 10-minute drive, but better safe than sorry, brought the jug, but it'll be all right.
And so the mapping is on what, MHD?
Yeah, it's on MHD.
And then JB4 is controlling the port?
Correct, yep.
Okay, cool.
JB4, yep.
Yeah, and so you're probably thinking like mid fives.
Yeah, I think so. I think we can get more out of it. And like I said, when I went to Impact, we had like, probably about a week of, logging.
Yeah.
And that was just, from pools and stuff that I did prior. But I think we still have more room to go.
Yeah.
We're at 26 PSI or somewhere around there.
Did you have any issues like the whole weekend?
The only issue I had was, it was my mistake. My phone died mid-flash, so that file the file went to crap.
Oh,
but luckily,
Yeah.
Chris was able to send me a file, I think, 10 minutes prior to the
nice.
the driver's brief.
Yeah.
So I flashed the car immediately, took off, and
Chris
started doing
the
pulls
dude.
all night. Yeah,
Chris came through.
I think throughout the day at Impact, I did about 10, 12 pulls back to back, and the car did amazing.
I saw you going all day, dude.
The temperatures were low, car was performing great,
Yeah.
no misfires, which is very common
That's
for an
crazy,
M54.
dude. Yeah.
But I definitely think the car did amazing, and
Yeah.
like I said, shout out to Chris. He took care of me, and the car is running healthy for what it is.
Hell yeah, dude. And then you have this expansion tank, which is pretty interesting. It's like a combined expansion tank for coolant and your steering reservoir. Your
Correct.
steering reservoir?
Yeah, so I wanted to try something new. I know people go with the Turner Motorsports.
Yeah, that's the one I had.
So it is a higher price range, but I got this for a good price, and so far, it's not bad for what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, it looks nice in there too. I like the relocation. It's way better.
Oh yeah.
On these cars. And then I actually have the same blow-off valve as you, the teal. Cool, man. Well, dude, this thing's dope. This thing's dope. Why don't we go for a drive?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, dude, my 135 feels the same. It's got like a little bit of like
It takes a
funny
minute,
float to it. It's the exact same. That's hilarious. You know what helps with that though? That rear hub conversion.
Really?
Yeah, because
I saw it. I looked at the parts. I got it off of.
it's pretty cheap.
Off your TikTok, you posted it. And
Yeah.
I took a screenshot. And I looked them up. I was like,
It's
about
cheap.
$300.
Yeah, it's cheap. The only problem is with your wheel set, you'd have to change your wheel set because it wouldn't fit with the rear. They're too wide. But yeah, dude, this thing feels good. It pulls really nice. It's making how much boost? 26?
It's at 26 pounds.
Yeah, that's true.
Right now, I think earlier this week we were just working on timing.
Yeah.
But even then, it's the reactions.
So it's full E85. You have the 2 low pressure fuel pumps.
Yep, the dual.
The VS.
Yep, the
Yeah,
VS
okay.
stage 3.
I have one of his fuel pumps. I haven't put it in yet.
Yeah.
I have a Walbro 450 right now, just single, not running. But yeah, man, it feels really nice. It's smooth. It's like really smooth.
Yeah, it's not bad, honestly. It's honestly the first long trip I make with it.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, I got started last year in October, started tearing it apart, and honestly, like I went 2 different routes, before I ended up with this. I was gonna do the M5 tuner flares. I put them on, I didn't like it. I said, no.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. The fitment's really. It's fiberglass.
It's all fiberglass, dude.
Well, not only that, and like you only gain like 5 millimeters of like wheel width.
Oh, so it's not actual. It's
No.
not the same
It's
as the...
actually a little bit wider, but not as much.
Okay.
And what I was gonna plan to do is like, if I went with the M5 tuner in the rear, I was just gonna get him like, the rear flare pulled and like filled in with fiberglass a little bit to make it just a little bit wider, to kind of match up with the front.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I think that's too much work for like not
it
the
is.
end result I'm a want.
Exactly. And
so-
plus, you got these for steel, so it's like,
Yes.
you kind of lucked out.
And it's funny though, the part I wasn't even from a 1M. It was from a buddy of mine who had a 135 with the front end because he bought it in Jersey. It was a wide body 135. But they did wide body OEM 1M parts in the front, and the rear they did for some reason M5 tuner parts.
Interesting. People were saying, well, the real 1M M54 is different from the and I was like, oh, really? I didn't even know that. I thought they were all the same.
No.
And then I started researching. I was like, okay, I guess there are some like differences. Like there's some forged parts. Like there's obviously a different tune, like a different map. But like there's some other things on the internals that are different too. I had no idea. I just assumed it was the same M54, just like lifted boost or whatever.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they actually like made the car transmission. They've like actually like engineered the car differently, which I had no idea. But it was never my intention to to make. I like my dream build was like, let's put an S65 in this thing. Like,
Yeah.
That was what I always wanted.
Eric over at NRP always jokes around. He's all right. So when we throwing the S65,
Nah.
and I was like, man, that's a big. Honestly, as much as I love the S65, like I said, the buddy of mine in Colorado, he had the same color,
Yeah.
but his was LS swap.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's something I would love. You know.
You would go LS?
I think so.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
different, you know, unique.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Um,
LS is pretty popular, but I do agree with you in terms of like, you know, everyone who has the 1 Series, they want to do the S65
Yeah.
swap.
And honestly, like after like. What I would want to go after is probably like, you know, power, roll race.
Yeah, see the thing with the S65 though is like you can't dump a bunch of power.
No, you have to
It's
love
a fragile
Yeah,
engine.
you gotta love the engine for what it is.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Exactly. So like, because if I did that build, it would never be a power build. It would be about like making a cool like M3 meets 1M
Yeah.
thing, you know?
Just
like
a clean setup.
OEM style, you know, like I do. But like, yeah, if you want power, you gotta go LS.
Yeah.
Because it's too expensive to try and build out a fucking S65.
Yeah, no.
Like, you'd have to go stroker or
Exactly.
something. Like,
it just doesn't go together. Power and S65 aren't really.
not at all. Not at all. Yeah, dude. Thing sounds good. It rips. You gonna keep this one?
I hope so. Yeah. No, every other car I've had, I think I've like. So like my thing is like I don't want to say issue, but like my thing is like
Yeah.
I love to have a vision,
Yeah.
put it together, and it's like an accomplishment, right? I'll get it done, and I'm like, okay, what's next? And that's
Yeah.
what it's been for me
That's
the
like
last
how mine's are.
like 4 years, you know.
All right, guys. So huge shout out to Edwin for letting us take a ride in his 135 1M clone, awfully similar to mine. So if you're looking to do this on a budget, you can definitely accomplish it. You can really build one of these cars for like 10 grand if you really wanted to. You just have to cut a lot of corners, or you could spend 50 grand. It just depends on what route you want to take. I spent somewhere in the middle, and he was able to accomplish this by saving a lot more money. So it's a pretty interesting build. Don't really need to pump a ton of power into it. Like he's got mid 5s, which is probably somewhere around what I have. Anyway, super cool build. I'm gonna leave his information down below. Make sure you guys follow him. It's gonna wrap up today's video. See you in the next one. Peace.